Everyone, I want you to say a football term with me that's going to actually come back around, and we're going to talk about changing the world. But everyone say this with me. Everyone say, first half. Give me a little bit of that Arizona energy. Everybody say, first half. Second half. Oh, that was good. Let's try it one more time. First half. Second half. We were playing a game. It was the game of the week on TV. Millions were watching this game. And not only that, the ESPN announcers had their suits on, and they predicted that we were going to get blown out because the team we were playing was undefeated. We already had 3 losses in the season. This was actually my last game at USC. The thing about it was the adrenaline was so heavy. We were so pumped. We began to walk down that tunnel, and when we got to the edge of the tunnel, the adrenaline was there, the TV cameras, and I promise you there were 90,000 people in the stadium. It was so loud, it felt like the stadium was vibrating. We ran out on the field. First series of the game, the other team, they break the huddle, break. Those big linemen start jogging up to the line, and they're like, boo. Big bellies just jiggling up and down. You guys have all seen it on TV, right? Quarterback comes up, blue 88, red 44, hot, ball snaps. He drops back, and he begins to fire away on us. Shoo, shoo, shoo. And with precision, they begin to go up and down the field on us, and we could not stop them. It was one of the worst first halves I had ever played in. We had 0 at halftime, and the worst part is when we ran off the field, the 90,000 who were cheering for us began to make one sound, boo. We got in at halftime, our coach looked at us and basically just said, I don't care what the score is, and I don't care what the crowd is saying. I know one thing, you got it in you. And I know we can beat this team. We just got to get a new plan, a new strategy for the second half. Everybody say second half. We began to come back, and it was one of the great comebacks in history. One of my roommates, actually, great receiver, Eric, he catches a pass like I'd never seen before at the last minutes of the game, and when he catches it, people just wonder, how did he even make that catch? The striped shirt referee just stood there and raised both hands and said, touchdown, and the stadium went crazy. I didn't come here so much to tell you a story about a football game, because my challenge is not for you to become a world-class athlete, but a world-class person. But I had to tell you that story simply because we did not win the game in the first half. We won that game we won that game And just as you heard previous to me and many of you in here, one thing I do know, after being all over the world in 51 countries throughout Brazil, Bolivia, South Africa, Egypt, all throughout Europe and Australia, I know one thing, that in this audience, there are a lot of teenagers who've had some bad first halves. But the good news is that no matter what's happened in your first half, everybody here can have a great second half. What do I mean by first half? We have young people and teenagers who are being abused, abandoned, bullied, depressed, drug addicted, illiterate, incarcerated, suicidal, sex trafficked. But I'm here to give the good news. Never lose hope. I can say that with such passion because that is my story. I'm from one of the roughest cities in America, Los Angeles, California, but I lived in the Crenshaw area, the very rough part of LA. My father actually got involved with substance abuse. He actually committed suicide when I was 4 years old. My mother had all of her struggles with all of that. I went to actually 19 different schools before I got to the 10th grade. After my father had died, my mother got a boyfriend. He was abusive, and there was domestic violence for years in my home. I struggled academically. I was in the remedial class. That's the class for the students who struggled academically and in reading. And I remember sitting in those classes and hearing the sound, shh, and I would look to the side and hear it again, shh. And I would look to the side and hear it again, shh. And I would look to the side and hear it again, shh. And I would look to the side and hear it again, shh. And I would look to the side and hear it again, shh. And I would look to the side and hear it again, shh. And I would look to the side and hear it again, shh. And I would look to the side and hear it again, shh. And I would look to the side and hear it again, shh. And I would look to the side and hear it again, shh. And I would look to the side and hear it again, shh. And I would look to the side and hear it again, shh. And I would look to the side and hear it again, shh. And I would look to the side and hear it again, shh. And I would look to the side and hear it again, shh. And I would look to the side and hear it again, shh. And I would look to the side and hear it again, shh. And I would look to the side and hear it again, shh. And I would look to the side and hear it again, shh. And And it was the sound of people changing pages, and I was still on the first page. I would cry and hold the tears and wipe them away so my friends couldn't see. And sometimes what happens is we feel like our first half, that is our destiny, but that is not true. There was somebody that began to encourage me and inspire me and let me know I could make it. And they said, Keith, you don't have to be great to get started. You just got to get started to be great. I began to work, and I began to read, and I began to study. I said to my mom, I got a big dream. I want to go to college. I actually went to elementary school right across the street from USC at one time out of those 19 schools. And who would have thought that years later I would be standing on a stage at the University of Southern California, graduating the #1 academic student on my team, academic All-Pac-12, academic All-American nominee. Actually, I was graduating so high that my mother was in the crowd as all the people were clapping. She had tears running down her eyes. She wasn't crying because she was sad. She was crying because she was proud, making noise that only my mom and your mom can make. And it's nothing like making mom proud. Let's give our mom and grandmas a big hand clap right now. Everybody say second half. There were some men who imparted to me, who encouraged me, who mentored me. And so I'm going to give you a challenge today. Our goal is to, in TED Talks, to give you a challenge. My challenge is that the pain of your first half has produced a strength in you that would allow you to change the second half, not only of your life, but of the world.